guys, welcome back to the channel. So this week I'm going to show you guys some quick and easy comforting home cooked meals that I had while I was in the Azores in Portugal. Also things that I was able to eat while I was out. I have a few other videos and I will link them in this video as well if you want to see some of the other things that I ate as a vegan in Portugal. So I did find that a lot of restaurants were very accommodating. I would make my own meal and I would just tell them what I can and cannot have, and they would come up with something that could suit my needs. So I was really happy with that. And they always made sure that there was no cross-contamination, because the last thing that they want is a tourist being sick there. So I was able to get this lovely food. It was beans and a lot of vegetables. They use whatever is fresh and in season, and it was super delicious and really, really filling. So they roasted bell peppers, carrots, there was cabbage in here, and cauliflower. It was super delicious, and the beans were so tasty. So another meal that I like to cook at home was baked beans, just because I had beans and I had tomatoes and I had the bell peppers available to me for free because they came from our family farm. So I wanted to use up all of these ingredients before heading back to Canada. So I did make another big tray of baked beans. And in this baked beans, that is a little bit different from the last time that I showed you guys in another video, is I added a lot of bell peppers. And this really upped the flavor content of this dish, and it just basically elevated it. It tasted even better than the other ones, and it was so delicious and so hearty. It cooked so nicely in the oven. They were just roasted to perfection. I also had some canned tomatoes that I had to use up because I didn't want to leave them and come back to Canada without eating them. So I decided to add that to the meal, and then also rice. So I had a side of rice with it too. Super delicious. Very high in fiber and protein, and this is one of those meals that really keeps you full for a really long time, especially when you're on vacation and you're out and about. You don't have a lot of time to stop and eat constantly, so you want to have something that's really filling and it's going to keep you going throughout the day. This meal definitely fit the bill. So while out and about, there is a cart where they do virgin pina coladas and ones with alcohol, and they are super delicious. These are local pineapples, and they do it right there and then, and it's so delicious. So I really enjoyed quite a few of those while I've been shopping downtown. And then also a local pizza place made a yummy panzerotti that was baked and filled with a whole bunch of local veggies, and that was super delicious. So I enjoyed that a couple of times while I was there as well. Another thing that I found really helpful was having some protein bars on hand for days that I knew that I was out and about all day, just to have as a snack. So I was able to find them at health food store in the big mall downtown. So those were the ones that I chose, and they were not too bad. And you know, it's just something to snack on when you're in a pinch. So another place that we visited was the Azores Military Museum. I just found it really interesting to visit it just because my dad was in the military before he came to Canada, and he actually lived here on site. So he was able to tell me where his dorm was and everything, where he had stayed for years. So I found it really interesting just to see a little bit of the past and history of the Azores, and knowing that my dad was in the military, and it was a pretty scary time back then, you know, and he has stories to tell, and it was just interesting to see where he had to live during that period of his life. So the military base is open daily for, I think, most of the day. I think it's till like 6 o'clock, 10 to 6, I believe. And it's for a very small fee. You can get in just to kind of help them out, having that fee associated with going in. And you can kind of just do your own thing, walk around. They do have a lot of information along the way so that you can read up and see, you know, what different exhibits are all about. And yeah, you are able to just walk around and explore at your leisure. So a small part of the military base is restricted, so you're not able to go into those areas just because it is operating and running, and there are military personnel there all the time. I was able to see the area where my dad had slept in his dormitories from the outside, but of course I wasn't able to actually go in and see what it looks like because it is still up and running currently. So yeah, for the most part, you are able to walk around with a few areas of restriction. I found it really neat just to see some of the doorways and the tunnels. Those were really, really interesting, and they tried to preserve the actual building as well as they could possibly. And it was really interesting. Like, look at these lights, super, super interesting. And yeah, I mean, along the way, as you'll see, there are lamps all across this big tunnel. And then these are all the uniforms and how they have evolved over time, what they look like in the beginning and what they currently look like now. And they have little blurbs of information at every single station, so you can learn a little bit. So that is it for the military base. Thanks so much for watching this week's video. Thanks so much for the support on the channel. And also going back to the food and what I ate while I was there on the island, I just wanted to make sure that I get the point across that no matter where you are, especially in Portugal though, just because I have, you know, the knowledge base behind that, you just have to ask. You have to let people know what your restrictions are, and they are going to help you create a meal. They don't want the tourists to be hungry. They want you to be satisfied and happy. They want you to come back again. So as long as you explain to them what your restrictions are, they are going to try their best to accommodate you. So I never had any issues where I couldn't find something to eat. I couldn't find, you know, things at restaurants. They will accommodate and give you a lovely meal, but you do have to speak up and again explain to them what your restrictions are. So, and then going back to, you know, if you're getting an Airbnb, I'm lucky because I have my own home there with my family. I have a kitchen there that I can cook my own healthy meals in. I know that's not a reality for everybody, especially if you're staying in a hotel, but if you can do an Airbnb, remember that you can go to the local markets and buy a lot of fresh produce, a lot of yummy food, and you can create really healthy meals at home as well. Okay guys, so that is the end of the video. Thank you so much for being here, and thanks for the support on the channel. Health, joy, and positive vibes to each and every one of you, and I will see you in the next video.